computer. All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are again. I am recording this one. This one's going to be, I think I'll try to do like maybe 10 minutes quickly, because yesterday I recorded like 50 minutes, but then it didn't record the sound again. So I'm still trying to work it out. So if this one works the first 10 minutes, then I think I know now what to do to make sure I also get the sound. So that is why I don't want to go for a really long time and then find out that I have to do it again. It will work, I hope. Okay, let's try. We'll do 10 minutes. For me, it's 9:09, so I'll stop at like 9:10. I'll stop at when it makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. We are moving on to the following part. We are going to do some three-dimensional drawing. So I'm going to talk to you about three-dimensional drawing. And I will open up my iPad over here. I will share the screen with you so that you can see what I am trying to draw. Screen. Okay, let's start this broadcast. Super nice. Here we go. Let's see. 10 minutes. Okay, so essentially I am going to teach you, of course, about drawing, right? Now, before we start talking about, I'll turn this a little bit. Okay. Here we go, good. So you can somewhat see me do some drawing right now, perfect. If you want to draw something, many times people will say, well, I do not know how to draw, right? I cannot draw. Oftentimes when I have parent-teacher interviews, then the parents will come and they say, oh, I cannot do anything art. I'm not good at it. I can't do it, you know? And most often that is the case because people do not know some really basic, simple things that you need to know, right? So I will teach you how to draw things in 3D, because if you can draw things in three dimensions, that means you can also draw things in linear perspective, because both of those techniques are essentially the same. There's only a slight difference when you do linear perspective. So if you want to draw something that looks realistic, then you have to follow certain basic rules. Now, those rules are really simple, but it's going to take a little bit of time to understand. Now, I've been teaching this to people for I don't know how long. Well, I do know, 14 years. So essentially, what is really important is that you understand that there are three basic directions, and they are these ones. Oops, let's see, make a new layer. Here we go. Make a pen. I'm on this one. Nice. Okay, here we go. So there's this one, which is up and down, or we can call it Z. And then there is this one, which is going to be, in my case, green, which I'll call the Y direction. And then I'll make a red one over here, which is called the X direction, right? So those are three basic rules that if you want to draw things in 3 dimensions, that you have to follow, right? Now, if you can follow these 3 lines, you can make anything in the world, really, and you can make anything understandable. So when we're talking about, in our case, we're talking about 3D, 3-dimensional drawing, then that is what I am referring to. I'm referring to these 3 different axes, right? That you can use to draw something. And it is quite simple, actually, to be honest. So another word for 3-dimensional drawing, you might say, it's called isometrical drawing. It's a different name for basically the same thing. Now, isometrical drawing or 3-dimensional drawing is somewhat limited to the possibilities that you can do with it, right? Because when you're drawing something that is three-dimensional or isometrical, then you are sort of stuck, because the way the technique works is like this. If you use your lines, let's say I'll do Z like this, oops, and let's say next to this one I put another Z like this, that means that these two lines are going parallel, right? Parallel. That means they remain the same distance away from each other always, right? Like this is not parallel because these lines are getting closer together, right? So if you are able to keep your lines going parallel next to one another, then you can draw isometrical, right? And isometrical is fantastic. It's super easy to learn. It will give you a super nice quick result, and it will help you fully understand how complicated things will work when you want to draw them in linear perspective, right? Because that is the second technique. They are both similar, but slightly different. So I like to teach people how to draw things in 3D or isometrical first, because it will give them greater possibilities for later on when they want to do things in perspective, right? So that is what we start with. So let's say I want to turn this lines into a box. It's really simple. Here, look. This is up. This is sideways. This is the other one. Weeps, this one, right? Now, if I use the same lines like this, I put one over here, whoops, and I put one of these ones over here. Now, something that often happens in the beginning when people start to draw something like this is that they just blindly start to connect these things, right? And you can see that doesn't really work, because these two lines, in this case the green ones, are no longer parallel, right? And if they're not parallel, it's not going to work, right? So, of course, I sometimes draw one line. In this case, I draw my blue line here, nice and long, and then this one is a little bit too short. That happens, you know. Don't just connect them. Just try and think about parallel is more important than connecting it, because I can always go back and draw this one a little bit longer, right? That makes sense? I think it does, right? Okay. So if I copy another one, red one here, and I do it like this, that's not good. That's not parallel, right? So make sure it's nice and parallel to each other. The more parallel it is, the better it is going to look, right? Then we do one more over here, and we do one more over here. So with these three basic lines, I can draw, for example, a box. And as you can see, I am a little bit stuck. I'm looking at this box a little bit top down, because I can see 1, 2, 3 different sides, right? So this view in 3D will always sort of look like this. You're looking at something that is underneath your eye, and it's a little bit turned, so you can see all 3 different angles, right? That is the whole point of drawing things in 3D, right? Now, that will apply basically to anything that you ever want to draw, right? So, for example, I can keep on going on this thing. I will not. But let's say I want to draw something that is like organic, for example, right? So let's say I want to draw maybe like, I draw like a crocodile or something, right? Here I go. I go like this. I draw like maybe like this is going to be like whatever. It's going to be like the eye of the crocodile tube, like this maybe. See? And then I say, okay, let's keep this zoomed in. It's going to be better for us. Then maybe over here I say I'm going to put like some of his nostrils, like this. Then I say, okay, this is going to be like his jaw, maybe something like this. Hoppa. Then I put like here some of that, like they always have this like sort of membrane, whatever, here. Then I say this is going to be like his, oh, that's not good. It's going to be like his jaw, maybe. Oops, like this, something like this, maybe like this. right? Okay. So essentially, what I have done now is I have started, and I do this in my mind. I don't do this. I don't draw this box, but I'm thinking about the box, right? Example here, look. I'm going this way, trying to follow that a little bit. Then I know that this is going to be up and down. So then I also know that this is going to be that way. And that is going to give me a lot of possibilities. Look, for example, if I want to draw the other side of the eye, well, I can say, well, that should probably be somewhere over here, right? Then the other nose should probably be somewhere over there. This can go here. So basically, I can already start to sort of plan out where stuff has to be on the other side. See, look. If I put the other eye doing sort of the same thing over here, like here, and I say I put another nose like maybe over here, I'll put maybe this, then I maybe want to extend this a little bit, get rid of this line, you know, that will make it look a little bit more three-dimensional, right? Then I can say, well, maybe it kind of goes this way or something, tubes like this. Then I should go a little bit this way. Now the jaw is going to be nice and big, right? So let's say, where does it start? Let's think about it. So let's say this part would be here. So where would that be on the other side? Well, let's think. Probably it should start somewhere over there, right? If you were able to X-ray it. So that means I can basically copy this line, this one, and put it starting here. See? Here we go. Try and do sort of the same thing, do sort of the same thing, and then here I can see it. See? Something like this. Easy peasy, right? So that really, if you start to understand that everything you draw basically follows the same three directions, you can find out where stuff is on the other side, right? Now I feel this line is a little bit weird, so I'm going to change this a little bit because this is a little bit too fat in the end, you know, like I think it should end roughly in the same size. Gotta work this out a little bit. Also, ladies and gentlemen, while I'm talking about this, let me just super quickly do a little side thing, and then I will pause the video, and then I will try and upload the next one, see if this one recorded sound, right? Okay, so you're probably drawing with a pencil, right? And a pencil is really nice because a pencil is to sketch. So for example, right, if I wanted to draw this crocodile, but I don't want to do like the way I do it now, I do it like how I really do it, I would draw something along these lines. I would go like really thin, try and like find it, try and like sketch it, doesn't really matter. I go like super fast, like this. I just sort of plan out where things need to be. I try to do that with like some nice thin lines. Because if you want to draw things, you gotta have a little bit of fun with it. So you want to sketch like a little bit nice and loose, because if you sketch a little bit nice and loose, it's going to be nice to do because it's going to give you lots of possibilities. Because in this case, if I just don't really think about it, hold my pencil like way in the back, that means that basically all these like scribbly weird lines, they're just going to help me. They're going to give me like lines that in the end are going to be way more interesting than if I like draw like this, where I go like, okay, gotta do gotta go gotta go, and I really focus on doing the perfect line on the outside, then I'm never gonna have a really interesting result, right? It's always gonna feel a little bit boring. But if you sort of like draw a little bit more sketchy, whoops, you know, then you'll have like a lot more fun while you're doing it, to be honest, and it's gonna give you so many more interesting things really to look at, right? It's way more fun to do. And of course, you can always, if you don't like it, erase it or things like that, right? So I could do something like this, draw like a crocodile. So another thing about drawing is, you'll see me constantly fixing my own mistakes. And that is what you need to do. You don't have to be afraid. Lots of people, when they draw things, let's say they want to draw, for example, this line over here, this one here, what they'll do is they'll do this. Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to do it like this and it's wrong, and then slowly start to work at it so it gets better, they afraid and they do this. And that is going super slow and it doesn't help, right? So just don't be afraid. If you're not certain about what the line should look like, then just draw it thin. Here, draw it nice and thin, something like really thin, and then you can say, oh, do I like that line? Yes or no? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Let's go a little bit darker. And then you can fix or find the line that you want to use, right? For example, I have done like a lot of lines over here now, see, tubes. So which one would be the nicest? Well, let's say I want them to be a little bit fat, so I probably want to use something here at the back. Then I have like a lot of wobbly stuff over here, maybe. Tubes, nice. Maybe he's leaning in with his foot, see? This is giving me a lot of possibilities to choose from, right? Do I want to like make this one thicker? Do I want to make this one thicker? Like I can choose, right? So that is really handy. Anybody who is a professional artist will try and sketch a little bit loose, like what I'm doing here. It's going to give you a lot more options, a lot more play. The thing will become a lot more lively, right? But before you can get to this point where it all comes automatically, you have to get some basic understanding. So I am excited, so I keep going until I'm done with this crocodile. Then I'm going to pass it, and then I'm going to pray to all the gods to please have recorded the sound. That would be so good. Okay, so basic directions. Here we go. So let's say I want to draw over here a big tooth. Look like this. It's got like a big tooth over here. Where would the other one be? Let's think about it, right? I know this one is here. So that means that this one is probably going to be, oh, try and keep it the same color. It's going to make my life easier and yours too. So this one should start here and it should be about that high, right? So you can find out where something is on the other side. See, super simple. And that really is the key to drawing. If I want to draw like maybe like some sort of tongue, maybe like this, ooh, draw like a tongue, maybe here. See, they have like a big tongue, be like this. Okay, so I can keep going with this crocodile as much as I want. You know, I can say, okay, well, that is like the end of his jaw. So I can go like, maybe this is going to be his neck. It's going to be like his head. Then I'm going to put over here. It probably should end here, actually. See, that's what I'm talking about. You draw something, you find out that it's not where you want it, then you have to correct it. You can only do that once you have drawn it, right? It's way easier to first draw it incorrectly and then say, oh, I don't like where it is right now. I should put it in a different place. Then taking a really long time trying to find out where it is, then be uncertain about it, and then go and scratching it because it doesn't make sense, right? So just draw the lines. Say, okay, I drawn it, I don't like it, I need to put it in a different place, then do that. See? So I could keep going right now. I could say, okay, I go like this, and I can do this whole crocodile if I want in the same system. So I'll do super quick and super rough, just so you can see. Yeah. So example, I can say, okay, this is going to be one of those little points like this, right? Then they should also be doing the same on the other side. If I say, okay, I'm going to put like an arm over here, which is like an arm that goes this way, and a hand. That means I can then say, okay, I want to make it a little bit thicker. I just keep it super blocky for you, just because it doesn't matter, because later I'm going to make it look better. Okay. So then if this arm is here, then where would the other arm be? Well, let's think about it again. So the arm is here, so then it should also be starting over here, right, on the other side. So in that case, am I able to see it? Choop, choop, choop. Let's say here, here, and here. Now I won't be able to see it, don't need to draw it. So you can check too how far I can go. You can just draw some really thin lines in here to say those are the bones, that's the way I want to go, right? Then keep on going, can go all the way here. Then I can do, like, I'll make it into a box, essentially. Here. Choop, 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 choop. So this way I could draw a whole crocodile. But you can see this crocodile is just going to be straight, right? So it's going to be boring. So what should you do instead? Well, the rules stay the same, but you can slowly start to rotate, right? Let's say I want to make this crocodile look a little bit more interesting. Yeah, you can do that. It's really not difficult. Here we go. I'm going to get rid of this part. Oops. I'm going to move this a little bit to the left, make it a little bit smaller maybe. Running out of space. Here we go. So let's say this is the head, right? So the head essentially fits in a box that looks something like this. I'll make the box a little bit bigger so it stays easy for us to see. Yeah. Let's say here we go, here we go. Of course, the box is like a lot more wide, but just bear with me. Whoop. Let's say this is sort of where I don't like that at all, what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay. Let me do this better for you. Oh, sorry. Try to make it easier to see, but I made it hard. I cannot, I have to go like this. Otherwise it's going to be too weird to see. Okay, so let's say this is going to be the box roughly for the head. It's going to stick out a little bit, but that doesn't really matter, right? So let's say roughly inside of this box is what I'm thinking about is the head, right? So what you can start to do when you draw is you can start to rotate. Look, if I want this guy to go like this, whoops, I can do that. I can do anything I want here. I can say, well, okay, here it's going a little bit more this way maybe. See, go a little bit more this way. And then I just keep the lines the same. See, green, go a little bit more this way, go a little bit more. So this box will be over here, right? Oop. And then I could say, well, you know what? I really want to, and I'll do it a little bit quicker. So let's say here, I wanted to turn a little bit more here. It should be a red one then. Here, turn a little, oh, that's not red, that's green. Go a little bit more this way. See? I hope you can start to see it a little bit now, right? It starts to rotate. I can just keep on rotating these boxes any direction that I want. In fact, I can even rotate them a little bit sideways if I want. That means I'm going to have to change whatever the red line is doing, right? That also is a possibility. So I can change basically any of these directions slowly, right? Blue, 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 and I go again with the red and the green. Now, of course, when you're going to draw a crocodile like this, you're not going to draw all these things, right? All these boxes, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. It's a lot of work and it's not super helpful. But for purpose of being able to show you, it is going to make a lot of sense for me to do it. So I do this in my mind, right? I don't do this with actual lines. I do this while I draw. Just think about it, right? Yeah. Turn this nice and down so you can see sort of how to do it. Here we go. New layer, new here. Here we go. Okay, so this is a crocodile face. Do it super rough, super fast. Crocodile head, whatever. Crocodile. Then I said, okay, I'm going to put maybe like one of his arms over here. Yeah, like here maybe. Like this. Maybe some nice big nails. I don't really actually know. I think they got like 5 and like a little thumb or something. But you can always look at a picture. This one is just straight from memory, I guess, or what I think a crocodile should look like or have, you know, like generic. Okay, so one arm is over here. Then I go with my body maybe like a little bit this way. It's going to be some sort of weird long crocodile. Here. So I do the points on the back here, see? So here they still go on the other side. Here they start to turn this way, right? So I gotta keep that in mind. Then here I wanna go maybe this way for the back parts, like this. So then a little bit more body is gonna go this way. Then I go this way. Then this one goes up. So I'll do my points going this way for the tail. Go this way. Then, yeah, that's basically it. So if I were to just do the little points on his back, and keep on twisting those a little bit, you can start to see it already starts to curve a lot, right? So originally I wanted to put the legs like maybe, let's say over here, right? But I want to put them a little bit more back. So let's say I put one leg over here. Here maybe, yeah, put like a big leg over here. You can maybe see like a little bit of his foot on this side maybe, like this. Then where is the other one? Well, in that case, it's gonna be somewhere over here, right? So I probably need to draw the other leg, maybe here. That makes sense, right? Maybe I can draw it here, right? Or if I don't want it there and I want to draw it like maybe more over here, I can do that too. So I can draw like a big leg maybe over here. Oops, maybe I don't know what he's doing. Let's think about it. It's the front here. This is an animal. This is the front legs. Go this, for example, right? A doggy or a cat or a bear, anything. The front bend like this, the back bends like this. Okay. So if the back bends like that, that means that it goes forwards, backwards. Then we have like the foot. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So you can always think about what something is able to do, right? So I often do that just to help myself, just to think about it, you know, what's it doing? Which way is it bending? That is really the key, right? So one leg is there, then the other one's going to be here. Oops, doing sort of a similar thing. Am I able to see the foot? Let's think about it. Maybe I can see like a little bit of it, or maybe not, right? And then I can start to put a little bit more stuff on it. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right here, just so you have an idea. And then I am going to hope that it did it. It was 30 minutes. I hope so. That it recorded the sound. That would be amazing. And then I will continue. Okay, let's see. I see you in part 2. This is part 1. And